Um, Anyways, but I think it's time to get to a more positive aspect of the show, and we are finally getting to our number one coaching carousel move. Drum roll, please, my good friend Matt.
Uh, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but that was the slowest drum roll I've ever heard in my life. But anyways, that's okay. We'll work with it.
I'm trying to keep the laptop from falling off the table.
But anyways, did you think it was going to be anyone other than the fact that Rodney Terry officially became the full-time head coach at the University of Texas? I almost butchered my own favorite school's team. That's crazy.
Who are they?
The University of Texas Longhorns. Rodney Terry has officially become the full-time head coach, and it was a move that needed to happen, and here is why. For the first time in the podcast, I am going to be leading this one for obvious reasons. And as Matt and I talked about several times, this was a move that needed to happen. He stepped into a tough position and led Texas to their first Elite Eight appearance in 15 years. But that's not all. Facing adversity just seems to be a part of Terry's MO at this point. Five key seniors from last year's team are out of eligibility. And if that wasn't a big enough loss, since Terry took the job, Arterio Morris and Rowan Bromba entered the portal. Tyrese Hunter, Dylan Mitchell entered the draft. They still could come back, and of course, recruit A.J. Johnson decommits and is going to play pro ball in Australia, which, I mean, I can't really blame him. They offered him $750K a year. I'd probably do it too.
I would.
But there is a flip side. Obviously, the season doesn't start tomorrow. And because if it did, he probably wouldn't even have a roster to work with.
Yep.
But in my opinion, the best recruit in this class, Ron Holland, is still coming in. And Texas is expected to make a splash in the transfer portal. They have been linked to names like former Rice point guard Quincy Olivari. And here's the big one. The all-Matt McClellan team. The all-Matt McClellan All-American Max Admis is linked to the Longhorns. Yes, that is how. And Matt will be a bandwagon Longhorns fan if Max Admis does indeed sign with the Longhorns. I'm calling it now.
I did not agree to that.
Well, you will. He's a 3-time All-Matt McClellan All-American. Mid-court Max, or, unless he signs with Texas, my personal favorite nickname for him, Tyrese Proctor's son. But in all seriousness, things look tough right now. But if Coach Terry has taught us anything, is that when times get tough, he is the man for the job. And that's all I have to say about that. If yes, man. Because we talked about that. Because we talked about doing that offseason.
I would just like to thank Giancarlo Esposito for the defining role of his career as the undercover guy coaching the Texas Longhorns. I mean, seriously, he looks like Giancarlo Esposito. You've got freaking Gus Fring or Moff Gideon or whatever character you want to compare him to coaching the Texas Longhorns, and it's beautiful. I love it. But yeah, I mean, walking into that situation this past year with a loaded roster with a lot of different personalities to manage, in addition to dealing with the whole stepping in mid-season because of like I said in the most controversial thing, a PR nightmare, and then handling it with the grace to go on and win that many games in the Big 12, make it that far in the tournament. I mean, the guy deserved the chance to do it his way, did Rodney Terry. And I'm glad they did it because for a while, I mean, we were even speculating, are they going to give him the job? And then he made the Elite Eight, and you pretty much had to give him the job because anything else would have looked incredibly stupid. So if he can make it through this past season, he's ready for the things that will come with actually having his guys, his program, his restrictions, his rules in place for this upcoming season, and especially in the Big 12. I mean, Kansas is always there, but, it'll be interesting to see just what the Big 12 looks like next season as opposed to this season because, like I said, transfer portal has played a big role to the point where now West Virginia, a team that barely made the tournament, is already a top 3 team in the Big 12 almost now. I'm serious. They got the Syracuse guy today.
Nope. So I wasn't shaking my head disagreeing. I was just because it was it's almost seemed like completely out of nowhere.
Yeah, I like to confuse you, but that's the nature of the sport. Like you said, Les, with the transfer portal and all that stuff. It may look bleak for Texas right now, but it may not look bleak in August, and that's where it starts to matter.